Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Messi and Co. Back, the two of us, once again. I'm Ashley with my amazing co host, Gian, and we are just jumping on to do an episode a little different than maybe normal, not a preview, not a post game, but just talking about one of the many amazing subjects with this Inter Miami team. But before we get into that, I know I wasn't here for the last post game show, but Gian, you obviously killed it. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Excited for this different type of episode that we're going to do. And we're going to try to bring more of these where it's just specific subjects and topics that we think would be interesting to touch on. And yeah, I'm excited to have you back too. Glad you enjoyed your personal day off. That
Yeah,
you
I
took
saw that
off.
clip that
Yeah.
you that my requested time off was uh was honored. So thank you for that.
Of
Yeah, no,
course.
I had a it was my sister's birthday, so I had to go to it. And of course, the one game I miss, uh we saw a Messi MVP performance, masterclass, magnificent. I don't know how many more M words I can do, but I wasn't watching it, but I was watching highlights on my phone and
Yeah.
scrolling, and every 3 seconds it felt like there was either a goal from Kansas City or there was an absolute freaking whomping goal by
And
Lionel Messi.
that's a match we said that we were expecting too in the pre.
Yeah, and it looked, the atmosphere looked great. I know you talked about all this, but I saw he talked to Patrick Mahomes for a second, which was cool because obviously a lot of people were like making jokes like he doesn't know who he is. Messi knows who Patrick Mahomes is. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL. And also, Messi said he's been watching American football recently. He said that in a podcast he did. And so, all that to say, he certainly knew who Patrick Mahomes was. And I don't know if saw this, but just a sidebar, heard the first real sentence of English I've ever heard from Messi. We've heard him say words here and there,
Yeah.
but you could hear in the audio he said "good to meet you," and I mean it was pure
Oh,
English. You
is
didn't
that what he
notice?
said? I didn't hear that part. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh no, I put it up to my ear because I
Yeah.
saw comments being like, "Oh my God, Messi speaking English," and I was like, "What?" Because you could really only hear Patrick Mahomes because he has a
Uh-huh.
very loud voice, but no,
Oh, that's
you
cool.
could
I,
hear
I didn't
Messi
hear
say
that.
"good to meet you," so that was cool. But that was off the field. On the field, I'm going to just talk about this really briefly. Wow, what a performance. First of all, his goal. The second I saw like him turn and have that one, he took that one dribble and he had like the 3 feet of space. I was like, golazo. I knew it before he kicked it because
Yeah.
it was in the range and he had enough space where he didn't have to worry about a player coming, and there was no question, and it was an absolute banger, amazing. And he played well the whole game. Obviously, Inter Miami got the win. So amazing performance by Messi. If he seems healthy, and if he can keep playing in these games and keep helping with the results, there's no reason he can't be MVP and can't make a huge
Yeah.
impact in the Inter Miami season. So, yeah. Before we change subjects, I just want to give my little feedback on what was just absolute,
Uh,
just unreal.
he's definitely in the MVP running
Yeah,
even before this match, and this match kind of solidifies that
yeah,
talks are real about him being MVP, and it just shows how much Inter Miami changes from I think a mental standpoint, a competitive standpoint, the confidence that the players exude when they have him on the field, the runs that they make, the passes they make. He elevates everybody else's game on the field, and he's such a difference maker, and it's the reason why Inter Miami brought him in to
yeah.
Fort Lauderdale to Miami. So yeah, amazing performance, and I hope that we can see some more of that over at Chase Stadium, and because we've already seen some amazing goals and some
Yeah,
amazing plays.
Saturday's gonna be a big game. We're gonna have a preview episode on that later in
Yeah.
the week against Nashville, one of our obvious rivals that we've created over the last couple of seasons. But yeah, he just
The
balled
assist
out.
too. The assist that he had was out
Yeah,
of this
and that's
world.
what I was gonna say. Not only did he score an amazing goal, but he had a pretty amazing assist too. An assist where when I saw I this is just to show how insane of an assist it was, is that like I didn't see it live. I was seeing the clip and it said Messi assist to Diego Gomez. And when he was making that first pass, I didn't realize that was the pass that was going to be the goal. I thought that was the beginning of the
Yeah,
play where it would be like a one touch. I can't believe you passed that ball and it made it to Diego Gomez in the box. I was like, that's I didn't see that, and I could see the whole field, but he did made an amazing pass to Diego Gomez, who slotted it home, who got an assist himself after some great pressing by him. And he's going to be the subject matter of today because, with all the players that we talked about, the Barcelona boys, the young talent, the new signings, etc. Lots to talk about, but someone who we don't maybe talk about as often, who certainly deserves it and who's been an absolute rock star for us this season, is the young Paraguayan Diego Gomez.
Yeah, Diego Gomez, since the moment he stepped on the field, I think that he's been an impact player. I know that the first few games last season, there were some questions, but if you really pay attention, he's just continued to elevate his game. He's a young guy that's gotten big minutes on this team and deservedly so. And the more he plays, the more that I think it becomes very apparent
Yeah.
that he is irreplaceable on this team.
Well, it's
He
funny you
just
say that word because we're gonna have to talk about that in a second. But yeah,
exactly,
I
yeah.
mean,
It's kind of foreshadowing what we'll end up
or
talking about on
foreboding,
this.
depending on how you look at it. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, he was, he had a team match day. I can't remember if it was one or a couple last season, but just as of most recently, he was on the team of the match day for match day 9. He had the one assist that he had a beautiful assist where he pressured, I believe it was Davis, the defender,
Hmm.
right? And he pressured him into losing the ball, and then he immediately ran right into kind of the area, and with the outer part of his foot puts in a beautiful cross pass on the ground to Suarez that taps it in, and then that beautiful
Another
run
goal
that
for
he made.
Suarez. Yeah.
Yeah, a goal for Suarez, and then that beautiful run that he had into the area where Messi puts a perfect pass, and it was a textbook finish as well on his part. So it
Yeah,
was just
not an easy
beautiful.
finish, not the easiest
Yeah,
to finish when you have a defender on you, when
yeah.
your body is taking you in the forward direction away from goal because he was running so hard. Great goal. Yeah, I mean, look, all of your points 100%. He has been one of the best and most consistent players that we've had this season when he's been available. Started, I think, all but maybe 2 matches that he's been available for
One, only
1.
one, which is something amazing. He's only missed one game across all competitions. He was part of he played for every single Conca Champions Cup
Yeah,
match. The only one he missed was against New York Red Bulls. And I believe that was for
international break.
international
Yeah.
duty. But he's been one of the most, if not the most consistent player on this Inter Miami team.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He's, taken that. I guess I don't know. Would you say he's a number 8? Maybe probably probably
Mm,
somewhere around a number 8
yeah,
role, right? He's in the midfield. He's been just a staple, and whether he's had to stay in the midfield, sometimes be a little defensive, or kind of go into that left winger role, depending on how the game's going, he's just excelled at all of it, and has been so much more confident on the ball, patient in his play, knowing more now, maybe compared to last year, when he should be offensive, when he should be more defensive, just always in the right spot. He's so young, he's so talented, and he's a really good player that Inter Miami was able to get last summer, and he's been a shining star in this team when there's been a lot of ups and downs.
yeah, he's a complete box to box midfielder if I've ever seen one. I mean, the way that he's able to help on the midfield and the defensive part and able to just lock down that midfield, close down the spaces. We saw him, especially early on before we went on to some different formations that didn't necessarily favor Inter Miami. We saw the first 3 games with him, Gressel, and Busquets just not really allow anything
Yeah.
to get past the midfield or hardly anything. I believe in those first 3 games, he allowed only just was it only 1 goal? Possibly, I think it was, and that was due in big part to Gomez. He right now is, I believe, in MLS, he's tied for second in assists with 5
Yeah.
assists, which is amazing. The fact that he's able to play make and do and score on top of that. He's got
Yeah.
2 goals so far for Inter Miami. The only ones that have more goals are Suarez with 6 and Messi with 5. So
Hmm.
he's tied with the rest of the few teammates or so that have 2 goals. So I mean, he's doing everything basically. He's
Yeah.
just cementing that midfield, playing well on defense, playing well on offense. The strength that he has, the speed that he has, we've even seen him showcase that speed at times where he's able to just bypass 2, 3 defenders and
Yeah,
ultimately put in a pass. One of
great
the things I
engine.
Yeah, one of the things that I think I've seen him also continue to improve, and again, just knowing that he's a young guy and he's learning a lot from guys like Suarez and Messi, those things are going to continue to make him a better player. I know that early on, actually, you and I had mentioned where at times there was a bit of frustration with his, I think, just him saying I'm going to finish this play
Yeah,
and not just defer every time. We saw his hesitancy on shooting on goal, and I think
right,
that as games have gone by, that has kind of been something that he's changed, and he's taking more chances on shots on goal. And I don't know if that's how much of that is learning and how much of that is just him building his confidence as he
right.
gets more time. It could be most likely, I think, a combination of both. But this is a young kid that continues to get better with every game. And look, I'm interested to see if you agree with me, Ashley. But obviously, Messi is the most important player on this team. There's no debating that. But if you
Mhm.
really ask me after Messi, who the next couple of players are in line as far as of importance on this team, I think Diego Gomez is in that conversation as who's next, and
Yeah.
and that's talking big because and that's saying a lot because you've got Suarez, you've got Busquets, you've got Alba on this team, but to me, Diego Gomez is right behind Messi as the most important player on this team.
Yeah, 100%. He's and if nothing more, he's just been so consistent. Rarely have we finished a game and been like, you know who did really bad? Diego Gomez. Like
Yeah,
even not necessarily every game he shines or plays, as amazingly as he played on Saturday, but he's good every game. He's hardworking. He's consistent. He's learning. He's one of those players where I think he is very coachable, and you see game by game instructions he gets, confidence, etc. He fixes his mistakes, every single game, and so I agree with everything you said. He's been great for us this season. And unfortunately, I don't think we're the only ones who think so. And what I mean by that, and what we said a little bit earlier, these are all positive things about Diego Gomez. Diego Gomez has been fantastic. I'd love for him to be with us for the rest of the season and, be a part of that starting lineup, always contributing, helping this team potentially lift 2 trophies this year. But Diego Gomez is young and talented, and there are a lot of teams in Europe who are looking at him and thinking the exact same thing. And so, what may happen this summer, because as we know, the MLS season is different from the European leagues in terms of when they play. But in Europe, after this season's ending in June, we may see some offers on the table for Diego Gomez for those European clubs, and I have a feeling Inter Miami may take them. So why I say that is because, this team has had to invest obviously in our superstars and make a huge difference with that. And because of that, there are roster constraints, there are constrictions, there's, disparity of money between the salaries and things like that. But one way that they can alleviate that is by getting, by getting transfer fees and by being able to rearrange their roster in order to comply. And so for Diego Gomez, who they didn't have to spend that much money on last year, if they could transfer and sell him to a club in Europe for a few $1 million, that will be able to add to balance our books and remove that under 21 DP spot and be able to bring someone new in. Um,
yeah,
I could see Inter Miami doing that.
yeah. At the end of the day, it's a business, right? And I
It's a
think
business, and it
that
would make us sad, but it's
yeah,
also important that they have to, knowing what they're trying to do for the next couple of years, at least a year or two with Messi, with Busquets, with Alba, etc. Suarez, we'll have to see about next year, but the other three are going to be here next year. They have to make compromises, and they have to be able to have young other, DP players in order to help the team around them. And if you can get a lot of money out of Diego Gomez when you didn't have to spend a lot of money on him, it could happen. And it probably should. I don't want it to, but it's not the wrong decision.
yes. So I guess that's where I'll differ with you, and as far as like if it should or shouldn't be done on Inter Miami's part, and I don't think Inter Miami is going to have a lot of say in it. To be honest with you,
Right.
there was an interview with Gomez's agent a bit ago, probably a few weeks ago, where his agent actually said that they've already received offers from Premier League teams. They've received offers from Brighton, for example, and Brighton's a great team. If you're ever transitioning
Great
from
at young talent,
MLS,
exactly.
they're great at getting young players, training them, making them better, and then moving on to bigger teams. Like one for example is Caicedo from Ecuador, from my home country, and he played in Brighton. He did very well there, and then he was sold to Chelsea and he basically broke the record for transfer fee for a midfielder in Premier League history. So I
And
think that
also
that would
a
be a
lot
good
of
option for him
Argentine fans, I'm sure we have Alexis McAllister, same
as
thing.
well. Yeah.
Played for Brighton and just transferred this past year to Liverpool. Same
Yeah, so
thing.
that's a great team to go to. And another thing that his agent actually mentioned as well is that Inter Miami, when Diego Gomez came on to join them, was made aware that this was only a transition period for Gomez, and the ultimate goal was to go to Europe.
Right.
And in conversations that they've had with Inter Miami front office has spoken to them and let them know that they have assured Gomez and his agent that they will not make it difficult
Right.
on Gomez for him to head on over, whether it be this summer or the next summer. But there are a lot of expectations that it could be this summer.
Hmm.
I think that one of the things that we need to keep in mind as well, and I hope that Diego Gomez's agent keeps in mind, is we see this a lot, especially in South America, where there are a lot of young, talented players that are playing in leagues like in Argentina, playing in the Brazilian league, and playing in other leagues. And they see a lot of the very talented players. They have a lot of teams in Europe that want to bring them on, and they throw money in front of their faces,
Right.
and some of these players tend to leave too early. They go to these teams, they don't excel, they basically get burnt out on the bench, and it puts an early end to their careers, or if not, it just diminishes what they could have done.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of talented players go that route and not really reach their full potential because of that. And I just hope that Diego Gomez and his agent make the right decision when deciding to leave this summer or not. Is it too early for Diego Gomez to go? He's 20 years old, or do we want him to get one, maybe two more seasons in Inter Miami before he goes on into Europe? We have to remember that his contract runs through 2026. He has a
Right.
player option through 2027. So there's still a lot of time left here. But ultimately, I think it's going to be Diego Gomez's decision whether he stays here or not, and Inter Miami are just going to comply with his wish. I don't think that they're going to sell him right now unless they get an
I was about to
extravagant
say if they get
offer.
an crazy, a
Yeah,
five,
it'd
six,
have to be
$7 million
crazy. I
offer,
don't
maybe, but
if
yeah.
it's just a normal offer, I think that right now they're trying to be competitive. They're trying to get the most out of Messi's
Right.
tenure here. They want the best players around him. Diego Gomez is one of the best players that they have around him. They're
Hmm.
not going to give that up for anything. Again, to your
Yeah.
point before, it's a business. So if they do get an extravagant offer that they can't, then at that point, obviously they would sell. But I hope they don't. I really do.
Yeah.
I hope we get at least another season of Diego Gomez, and especially knowing that next season, it's going to be probably one of the last seasons I think that we have Messi playing at a high level. We have Conca Champions, hopefully again if we make it through Leagues Cup
Hmm.
or through MLS. So yeah, I'd love to get another season of Diego Gomez here in Miami.
Agreed. Look, I would too. I think he still, makes a huge difference in this roster and would do to the end of the season. If they get an offer that they can't refuse, or if the cards, display in a way that it makes the most sense for everyone, I'll miss him. But, it's something that we could potentially see happening. We also have to remember Kremaski is back and healthy, looked great for the minutes he got. Not to say he replaces Diogo Gomez, but
Yeah,
you have him. Redondo's going to be back. You have David Ruiz. You have Busquets. You have hopefully Robert Taylor back. So it's not like if he leaves, the whole team crumbles. But he would be very much missed, and so hopefully he doesn't. But it's a compliment into itself, and it's showing that Inter Miami is doing the right things of surrounding Messi and co with good young talent. Farias was the same thing. If Facundo
yeah,
Farias played this whole season and was, in the form he was last season, he'd probably be in the same position where there'd be a lot of European clubs wanting him this summer too. So it's a good problem to have. And at least for the next, 2 months, we can guarantee and hopefully no injury or anything like that, he's going to continue being here 100%, seeing hopefully more great performances, his chemistry with Messi and Suarez continuing to improve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% with everything you said there, and I just hope that again we have some more time with him. I think that he's going to continue to make big waves throughout the rest of the season. I think that if Inter Miami is going to do big things here in the league and do things in as far as the supporter shield is concerned, as far as MLS playoffs are concerned, and then hopefully figuring out a way to make it to the FIFA Club World Cup if
Yeah.
they excel via MLS. I think that Diego Gomez is going to be a big part of that. The fact that again he's been basically in every game, it's just shows how important he is. And yeah, I think that with that we can go ahead and end on this one. And I think that you know what can I say? Diego Gomez is the one of the top players here in Inter Miami. But
He's been
with that,
great.
I'll go ahead and let you guys know. Please follow us at Messi and Co. That's MESSIANDCO, Messi and Co. You can follow us on X. You can follow us on Facebook, and also actually
TikTok.
on TikTok. So that's
Tiki-taki.
where you guys get all the clips from all of our podcasts. You get the tidbit of the best parts of all of our shows. So with that, I am Gian. This is Ashley, and we wish you guys a great rest of your week. And we'll
Let us
catch
know
you
if you
on
like these
Facebook.
episodes, if you want more player highlight episodes.
100%. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.